Gear up, scooter fam. Today, thought I'd do another comparison video. Um, and it's going to be between the Apollo Go and the Segway ZT3 Pro. Reason why I chose them is because they're fairly similar in specs. The ZT3 Pro is probably a little bit more off-road friendly, and the Apollo Go is a little bit more made for the streets, but it's not as if the ZT3 Pro is an off-road king or anything like that. And the Go does have suspension, so they can equally handle, and it's dual motor, so they can equally handle those types of situations. Probably one is probably just a hair better than the other. Maybe not equal, but close. They're both $1,100. They both go right around 25 miles per hour. So that's not bad. Not bad for a $1,000 scooter. I suppose 25 miles an hour is pretty decent. You can get scooters that go 25 for less, but these are both decent quality, well-known brands, especially Segway and Apollo as well. So the Apollo gets 18-ish miles of range, and the ZT3 Pro gets 20 miles of range. So you can split hairs on that one. It's also very close. Those 2 miles aren't likely going to get you that much. It's not going to add an extra trip to your commute. So it's almost insignificant, but there is 2 miles, so it is worth covering and going over. But it's very small difference. The Apollo Go is a dual motor scooter, which I prefer, just in general. And the ZT3 Pro is a single motor scooter. But it does have a decent 0 to 15 speed. So the Apollo Go is 350 watt dual motors, so a total of 700 nominal watts between the two. And the ZT3 Pro is 650 total watts for a single motor. And that comes out to like 50 watts difference, where the Apollo Go has 50 extra watts. However, when that converts to 0 to 15, the Apollo Go has a tested time of 3.7 seconds, and the ZT3 Pro has a tested time of 2.8 seconds. So significantly faster, 0 to 15, the ZT3 Pro. The Apollo Go is quite a bit lighter, at 50 pounds. It's made to be very portable, which is why it's called the Go. And the Segway ZT3 Pro is 66 pounds. So not crazy, but once again, definitely worth mentioning. All right. They both have a thumb throttle, so not too much difference between those. The Apollo Go is IP66 rating for waterproofing, and the ZT3 Pro is IPX5. So Apollo is ahead on that one, and fairly good with the 66 versus X5. The water is the main concern, and they're at 6 versus 5 for Segway. They're both UL listed, which that's always a positive thing. The tires are quite a bit different in size, so which probably lends to the ZT3 Pro being a little bit more better for off-road. So we have 9-inch tires on the Apollo Go. They are tubeless with sealant, I believe, on the Apollo Go, but they're 9 inches. Whereas we have 11-inch tires that are also tubeless on the Segway ZT3 Pro. So that's a decent difference. 2 inches, 11 inches from 9 inches is quite a bit bigger of a tire, and a nice ride in general. So it is worth bringing up all these things come at a cost of weight, which is why the ZT3 Pro weighs a little bit more. But yeah, the battery in the Apollo Go is a 36 amp 15 amp hour battery, and the battery in the ZT3 Pro is a 48 volt 12.75 amp hour. They both have dual suspension, slightly different types of suspension, but they both have front and rear suspension. And like I said, it's probably the ZT3 Pro is more meant for off-road, and the Apollo Go is meant for more street, urban commuting riding. Final thoughts. Right now, the Apollo Go and the ZT3 Pro are both $1,099, which makes, and for Black Friday, which I believe both are worth $1,099. I'd like them both to be 900 to 1,000, if I'm being honest, for me to really want to pull the trigger on something like that. But I think they're both worth $1,100. They're not a deal, but they're substantial. That's good. Any higher than that, I don't think either one of them are worth that much. They just don't offer that much performance. You can get better performance out of $1,000 scooter fairly easily. But these are nice. They're done well. They're reputable, that kind of thing. So that all goes into account. But still, $1,100 is the most I would pay. They go about the same speed. The difference in range is trivial at best. I prefer the dual motors, but in this particular case, the ZT3 Pro has the advantage in acceleration 0 to 15, so I expect the hill climbing to be decent on that. Versus the Go. The Go's not a beast or anything like that. More comparable to the Journey Max, to be honest. It's a Journey Max. It's a nicer Journey Max with suspension and tubeless tires. So I mean, is it worth $1,000? Is it worth $1,100? Sure. But below that would definitely be a deal for either one of these scooters. And it being 50 pounds or 66 pounds for me, that's fine. Either way is fine. My Nami is 80-ish pounds, and the Journey Max is also 50 pounds, roughly 40, 50 pounds. So not bad. They both have thumb throttle. I always feel a little bit better with the IP66 rating versus the IPX5, although they're both probably fine. They're both UL listed, so there's nothing to go with on that. The 9-inch versus the 11-inch, that could make a decent difference in the ride quality. That's something to consider for sure. That's a big difference, 9 versus 11. But it kind of depends if you want something a little bit more street friendly or off-road, friendly in that regard. So that's just sort of a personal preference, I guess. The story is I think they kept them for 9 inches because they wanted to keep it light and portable. The battery size, 36 versus 48 volts, and they have about the same range, and so it doesn't matter to me so much. Probably the difference in weight kind of equals that out. So you probably need a 48 to carry that extra weight and maintain the same performance. If I had to choose one for me, both at the same price. Now, if they're both $1,099 and they're both $1,100, I'll probably go with the Apollo Go. I know the ZT3 Pro is a little faster to 0 to 15, but I like the style of the Apollos. It is worth $1,099, in my opinion, but just barely. It looks like it has 2 certifications too, which is, I don't remember which one is which, but one is the electrical system and the other is the battery. So they actually have UL certifications for both the battery and the electrical system on the Apollo Go, which is great. So, but Segway does a great job. I don't doubt their stuff, and theirs is well listed as well. So, but yeah, the Apollo Go just appeals to me a little bit more for exactly the same price. They are pretty close in my mind as far as like value for the money, and so if either one of them dropped relative to the other, if Apollo went back up after Black Friday, but the ZT3 Pro remained the same, I would I would take the ZT3 Pro at a better price than I would the Apollo Go. So everything else being equal, I like the Apollo Go. A fluctuation in price either way, and it's a no brainer. So like I said, even if Apollo goes up and ZT3 Pro stays $10.99, I think that if I were to choose, I'd go the other way towards a Segway. All right, guys, if you found this content helpful and you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe, and happy riding.